Do you want to become the best Akali player who single-handedly carries his teams to victory? Well, look no further, because in 10 minutes you will receive all the necessary knowledge to go from this to this. 100% guaranteed result, by the way. As Abraham Lincoln once said, in order to become the best Akali player you need to know her abilities. And that's exactly what we are going to start with. First of all, her passive creates a ring around an enemy when hit by a damaging ability. Those damaging abilities are 5-point strike, first and second cast of shuriken flip, and then first and second cast of the ultimate. When the ring forms, Akali gains a burst of movement speed towards it, and once she crosses the ring, she gains another burst of movement speed towards the enemy. Crossing the ring empowers her next auto attack, which increases the range and damage of it. This attack also restores a small amount of energy. Akali's first ability is 5-point strike, where she throws 5 kunai in a narrow arc, damaging enemies directly in front of her and slowing those at maximum range. This ability is what you want to unlock first, as it will help you to last hit minions, harass enemy laner, and proc your passive. You can instantly activate your passive using 5-point mark if you hit the enemy champion with the very edge of this ability, just as you can see here. Second ability is Twilight Shroud. This ability allows Akali to restore some energy, gain bonus movement speed, and detonate a smoke bomb in the target direction, creating a circular shroud that expands over the next few seconds into a ring. Entering the shroud renders Akali invisible. Third ability is Shuriken Flip, where Akali backflips and throws a shuriken forward, damaging and marking the first enemy hit. She can reactivate it to dash to the marked target, damaging enemies she passes through. It's good to know that second cast of Shuriken Flip allows her to follow anyone, anywhere, no matter the distance. This means that you can follow a teleport, a Twisted Fate ultimate, and so on. Another nice thing about it is that you can use it to wall dash almost any wall in the rift. That helps with escaping from a sticky situation or chasing an enemy. Lastly, we have got the ultimate, that allows Akali to dash towards the target enemy champion, dealing physical damage to all enemies hit. Her ultimate can be recast after few seconds of first activation at no additional cost. Recast allows her to dash in the target direction, dealing magic damage to enemies hit, and the damage is increased based on target's missing health. If positioned correctly, then you can use your ultimate for wall dashing as well. This is the order how you should max abilities as Akali. There are 3 Akali rune pages you need to know. First one is Conqueror, that grants her a good amount of sustain and healing, but also gives a lot of damage. Conqueror is especially good against bruisers and tanky team comps because you need that healing and sustain when team fights or trades last longer. Second rune is Fleet Footwork, that you want to go for when you happen to be against heavy poke lane, like for example against Orianna. This rune is going to help you to survive that laning phase. Third is Electrocute, which is the go-to rune against squishy team comps, as it will add a lot of burst into your combos. If enemy team comp is squishy and you are against squishy melee champion like for example Zed, then this is the best rune to go for. But out of those 3 runes, Conqueror is in general the most viable, although you should definitely consider Fleet and Electro in certain situations. Best summoner spells for Akali are of course Flash and Ignite. First item should be Hextech Gunblade because it gives her both attack damage and magic damage, and since she deals mixed damage, then this is the perfect item for her. Second item would be the Infinity Orb for some HP, some ability power and magic penetration, but it also has that sweet passive which makes abilities and empowered attacks crit against champions below 35%. And as we know, Akali has a lot of empowered attacks in her combos, so this item synergizes really well with her. Third item should be the Rabadon's Death Cap for that insane amount of ability power. Fourth and fifth item are more situational depending on the matchup. You might want to go for Void Staff if enemy team has tanky champions with lots of magic resistance. In case enemy team has 2 or more champions with a lot of healing like Dr. Mundo, Soraka, and so on, then go with Moral Anomicon. In contrary, if enemy team is squishy and you have chance to go with Electrocute build, then you should definitely get Lich Bane as it works really well with bursty runes. Another option is to go for Guardian Angel. which is good when enemy team has a lot of physical damage dealers. And last item that works really well with Akali is Liandry's Torment, that many players even build as a second item. So those items you should be considering to get depending on the matchups. As for the boots, you should go with Gluttonous Greaves. In case enemy team has a lot of physical damage dealers, then you might want to consider Ninja Tabis. The same goes if enemy team has a lot of magic damage, then you might want to go for Mercury's Treads. Also consider getting Mercs when enemy team has a lot of crowd control. Usually for the enchantments I would recommend several options, but Stasis enchant on Akali seems to be the best option, because she is fairly squishy and she always ends up diving into the middle of the team fights where Stasis comes very handy. In the early game your focus should be to farm as many minions as you can, while trying to harass enemy laner with 5-point strike. Since its cooldown is really low, then against some champions you might be able to successfully trade already at level 1. How you should do it is to land the Q, and then hit enemy with the empowered auto attack, and then add another Q and auto attack. In case you are against ranged champion, then you should wait for at least level 2 before you are going to trade with the enemy. At level 3 you want to look for opportunities for an early kill or force them to base. But you got to remember to use your abilities wisely. For example, when it comes to the use of Shroud, then you should really use it when you know where enemy jungler is, because this is one of your main tools to escape from ganks. If it's on cooldown you should always play safe until it's up again. Once you get to level 5 then you should actively look for a kill because you have so much damage in your kit. One strategy that Akali mains like to do prior 4-minute mark is to roam to dragon lane to get some potential kills, which then allows your team securely take the dragon. In the mid game you need to be especially proactive on the map to get your team ahead, because late game is not easy for Akali. Your goal is to eliminate the enemy carry during the team fights as well as to look for picks due to the enemy team being in a bad position. The reason Akali late isn't easy is due to her aggressive style with her abilities, because you are forced to go into the heart of the enemy team and attempt to take out their carries, whilst trying not to get CC'd or burst down. That is why it is better to wait for your team to initiate the fight. That way you may jump straight to their backline. In the late game you don't always want to 5 versus 5, unless you have a very strong team. Otherwise go to a side lane and keep the minions pushing. Force the opponents to split up so you can go for an easy pick. If you don't know whether to team fight or not, then here are a couple of pros and cons to help you decide what you should do. In some instances it might be wiser for you to split push instead of team fight. Akali has a lot of combos and we will start off with the one we spoke about earlier. This is a combo you can use already at level 1, and you want to use it mainly against melee matchups. Remember that if you hit Q at maximum range then it will instantly proc the passive. Once you have both Q and W unlocked, then you can also add WQ plus auto attack to it. This is one of the extended trading combos you can do while using Conqueror against tanks and bruisers. To surprise your opponent who is low HP, then you might want to use Q flash combo. Then there is the quick trade combo, which is as follows: Q an enemy, then land your E, recast E again and auto attack. Now on to more difficult combos. This is the full combo before you unlock your ultimate. Start with Q auto attack, then Q into E1 and E2, auto attack again, then use your shroud to get some energy back and add another Q auto attack. Next up we have combo for tower diving. First lock in your target, which is optional, then dash onto enemy with your ult and right away cast E1. Walk out of turret range to wait until second cast of the ultimate is ready, then use E2, Q plus auto attack, and second cast the ultimate to dash out of tower attack range. One last combo is for the team fights. First of all lock in the target, use the first cast of the ultimate to dash onto the enemy, auto attack, then QW auto attack, use your E1 and E2, then use second cast of the ultimate and Q if necessary. Very important thing to remember is not to expect to execute this kind of combos right away, because it will take practice and time to get comfortable with them. I would definitely try those combos first in the training tool. Anyway, if you found this guide useful then be sure to subscribe. Bye guys.